It was really, really bad. The tanker truck had turned over. I was standing right there videotaping the fire. I could feel the heat from the fire. I didn't smell anything, but the heat was really intense. A lot of people was around. A lot of people was crying and praying because we didn't know if the guy made it or not. But later on, we found out that he passed away. It's a sad feeling. It's teary-eyed thinking about it. To knowing that somebody was still in that truck at that time. It's hard to imagine what that person went through. For me to stand out and watch it, it was very, very heartbreaking. It really was, and it still is. Just watching it, it's heartbreaking.
And you just heard firsthand account of that breaking news tonight on DC News Now at 10. A deadly explosion in Frederick, Maryland that left one person dead, an entire community shaken. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I am Tosin Fakile. The investigation continues tonight into a deadly tanker explosion in Frederick. Now we're going to show you video that was sent to DC News Now. There's huge flames and black smoke that came from an overturned tanker. Several homes and cars were damaged in various degrees from that fire. The unidentified driver died after the crash into a tree along portions of northbound as US 15. We've had team coverage all day and even tonight, and that kicks off with our Dave Laval, who's been on the scene for several hours. He saw what was left of that tanker, talked to those who live in the area. Here's what Dave has to say.
Home security footage captured the explosion that happened around noon Saturday along northbound 15 in Frederick. Velmut Sisson and her husband Bob live on the other side of Highway 15. They captured video just after the blast, which scared them a bit.
I was waiting for another explosion, quite frankly. I don't think I want to be standing in front of the house when you've got flames like that. So, we went back inside and huddled in the back, and it just kept getting worse and worse, and it was just amazing.
A preliminary investigation found 6 homes and 5 cars suffered damage from the flames. Many of those incidents got started, according to Frederick County Fire and Rescue Services, by strong winds that spread the flames.
We see these enormous black clouds billowing in 2 different areas. We saw it in north of us, and then south of us, it's like, oh my gosh, there's just a wall of black coming up.
There's been no word if anyone home at the time of the explosion suffered any injuries.
And that was our Dave Laval reporting, who had been on the ground seeing all of the damage left behind. Our continuing coverage continues with Anae Simmons, who's also in Frederick. She talked to some people who saw those flames and that community shaken up after all this.
It was quite a scary day for the people of the city of Frederick. Black smoke covered the area as first responders arrived to a tanker truck that hit a tree and caused an explosion. George Connell, who lives in the area, says he had to wear a mask because of all the smoke around him.
I look up in the air. I was about ready to walk an errand up to 7th Street, and I saw this black smoke, and I said, well, that's moving very quickly. That's a fire.
One part of this house on Apple Avenue completely burned. Officials say the family inside the house was displaced, cars burnt. Vera Bearfield says she witnessed the whole accident.
It's hard to imagine what that person went through. For me to stand out and watch it, it was very, very heartbreaking. It really was, and it still is. Just watching it, it's heartbreaking.
Now, Frederick officials saying tonight there is no risk to the public with the foam that was used to stop that fire that went into Carroll Creek. We'll continue to have team coverage of this deadly incident again for you at 10:30.